Hi my lovelies, welcome back to my channel, and for everybody who's new, I'm Leora and I'm so glad you found me. So welcome to today's video, which, you know what, it is so weird that I'm filming so many makeup looks and I'm always grading you without makeup on. It's so weird. I never would have thought that I'm going to be doing this. I always filmed an intro. Do you remember that a couple months back? I always did that. But now I sort of feel like, let's see where the whole look is going. So, but that is just besides the point. Anyway, welcome to today's video, which is going to be a sort of tutorial, and I say sort of for a reason, and I'll tell you in a second, for hooded eyes 50 years plus. I know. Why am I making a tutorial on this? Because I've been asked to. And that is so funny because I actually really have been asked to do that by some of you. And when I was reading those comments, I was like, why? Why do I have to do this? I mean, I don't have to, of course, but why? Because listen, I'm not 50 plus. I don't have hooded eyes at all. But you guys love me. Thank you. I love you too. So you want me to do a tutorial, and also I know that my audience is a little bit older. I don't have a lot of teenage audience and things like this, but what I'm going to tell you today, you can, of course, if you're a teenager and you have hooded eyes, you can use the same thing too, okay? Anyway, that is sort of the intro, a little bit. The palette I want to use today is actually one from Morphe. This is the Stunning Vibes palette from Morphe, and I thought I'm going to use a palette like this because it is very, very accessible to everybody, or to most people, and it's also not very expensive. So I wanted to just show you that you do not need some super high-end stuff to create a good look. You know, you really don't. So anyway, I got this from my very best friend who helped me to start my channel, actually, when it comes to makeup, because she just really invested in me, and I thank her from the bottom of my heart, because I would not have been able to do it without her. So thank you, sweetie. All right, okay, so let's zoom in and then we'll start. Alright, sweeties, before we go in, I want to make a suggestion that actually has not so much to do with the actual eye look. So what I would like to suggest to you is get your eyebrows done. Get them done, or learn how to do them yourself, because that is actually, I think, something very, very important that really influences the look, or the overall look, even of your face, not just of your eyes, you know? So good or well done eyebrows really, really amp up the look. So that is what I would want to suggest. And also, when you're setting your eyeshadow base, if you're using an eyeshadow base, try to have some kind of highlight like right up here. I did already set my eyeshadow base right under my eyebrows with a bone color matte, which is here from, can't get the palette open, which is this one right here. This is called Go Nude. And you do not need to have a shimmer shade. Of course, the classic thing is to put a shimmer, like a champagne color shimmer or whatever, very light color shimmer, right here under the high point of your eyebrows. That will also bring out, you know, it will bring it out a little bit more. That is not exactly my style, because I don't need to do that, because I think that my proportions are pretty much okay and I just don't need that extra shimmer there. But it is a very, very classy way to do makeup. So there's nothing bad about it. It's just not what I'm doing right now. I might change my mind tomorrow. Just so you know. Alright, so I did set already this first part here of my eyeshadow primer, as I just told you. So now I'm actually going in with this shadow right here. This is like it's a cool tone taupe, but with a bit of a, I would say, a Bordeaux undertone. This is the shade Risque. I so don't like this, that there are no shade names here. I have this sheet glued here so I don't lose it, the sheet with the names, and I always then have to like try to find the right shade up there. It's really annoying. So, but anyway, it is what it is. So I'm going to take this Risque shade and I'm going to use it as a transition shade, and I'm going to like go really, really traditional today. Because I think that's what we are needing here today, okay? So As you all know, I usually don't like set my eyeshadow primer, and I also did not do that today, but I'm actually using today for the first time a new eyeshadow primer, which is the Shadow Insurance from Too Faced, and that is actually for me quite the game changer, because once it has dried down a little bit, the eyeshadows smooth on like crazy. So if you want to, in a good way, you know, if you want to invest in a good eyeshadow primer, that is definitely something I would suggest. Because if you have hooded eyes, and there's of course also, especially when you're older and your eyelids sink a little bit or droop a little bit more, like especially when I think about my mom, basically her eye or her fold of the crease has dropped down like almost over the whole lid, over the movable part. Excuse my English. If you're new here, it's not my mother tongue. All right, I'm trying my best. Then you will definitely want to have an eyeshadow primer, because if you don't, the folds of the skin moving against each other while you're blinking will just rub everything off, and then everything will be much more likely to sort of separate and crease and crackle into the lines and the wrinkles and the folds of the, you know. It's really it's hard for me to explain all this out of not having it experienced myself on my own. But of course I've had clients with hooded eyes, and I've also done makeup on my mom who has very hooded eyes. So that is that. Okay, so but you're seeing here, I think, that this shade smooths on super well, and really like it, even though this is really maybe not my most favorite color scheme. But I wanted to keep it a little bit more classy today, because I think maybe that would speak to more people who are maybe just clicking on this video because they do have hooded eyes. Okay, so if you're new here, then you don't know that usually I go like really colorful, or that is my comfort zone. Feel free to check out my other videos. But anyway, okay, so let me just do this on the other side, and then we'll back and work a little bit more on the look. Alright, sweeties, the first eyeshadow is on, and I think it is, wow, my chin is shiny. I think it's good. Okay, so let's just find another shade that is a little bit darker, because the whole thing with what we're doing today, it's a classic smoky eye, which when I studied makeup, this is how we called the classic smoky eye, is what we call when the lid is the darkest and then it sort of smokes out to the top. It's not so much that kind of an eyeshadow look where you have like a smoky end towards the outside, because it is really a problem when you have hooded eyes and you know, the hood comes down, and like, how do you smoke that out, right? So but towards the top you can fake it, you know, you can go with your brush like inside the crease and inside like below the folds, and push the color in and sort of smooth it out towards the top, because this part here under your eyebrows, where your eyebrow bone is, wow, that will always be, no matter how old you are, this is always the part where there is still some, where it's not drooping. Let's put it that way, because I really don't know how to say it. I don't want to come across rude or anything, because I just really don't have the vocabulary. Sorry. Okay, I hope I'm not making a mess of this. I hope you're still gaining something from this. Okay, so let's just use this shade right here. This is what we used first. This is what we're using now. This is the shade Seduced, and it is a little bit of a muted mauve shade, I would say, with a lot of like a taupey gray undertone, and I kind of like this for that look. So we're basically now pushing this into the crease, and now of course, because I don't have hooded eyes, obviously for me this is super easy. Now you might have to just, you know, lift the folds up a little bit, or like really push in your brush in order to get into the crease. So when because you're applying your eyeshadow while your eye is closed, obviously, right? And you're just watching with the other eye what you're doing. But once you're opening your eye, if you don't push the color all the way in to all the places and really spread it around with the brush, then once you're moving your eye, then people will actually see that you have empty spots in your eyeshadow application, and you don't want that, because really you don't, right? So anyway, so let's just smooth this second shade over the first one and just create a little bit more depth and sort of a transition towards the darker, towards the lid, you know. Anyway, I hope this is still fun for you, because it is for me. It's just that sometimes I feel so inadequate language-wise that I just feel like, why is anyone watching? Sweeties, you're amazing that you're watching me, seriously. Maybe you're bringing out the popcorn and like really having a good time. Are you? Sweeties. Okay, so that's basically what I'm doing here, and I'm really just very loosely with a very, very light hand doing this, because especially when you have a lot of, you know, folds and droopiness going on, you don't want to have splotches of, like one splotch of color where the brush hits your skin first. So just go in with a little bit of product and build it up. You know, it might take you maybe 5 minutes longer altogether, but I think it is super, super worth it. Okay, so I just want to also point out that it is very, very important that you get the darker shade also like here in the middle, in the corner here, and you don't sheer it out too much, because we don't want to have this effect today for this purpose. We don't want to have this effect of having the lighter shades or the more sheared out shades in the inner corner or towards the inner corner of the crease, because really you don't really have that kind of a crease, right? So anyway, so the next stage is when you ask me, and of course you're here because you want my opinion, I guess, is crucial, and that is when it comes to the shimmers. Now, it depends how bad your case of drooping eyelids or hooded eyes is. The classic way to do it, or the classic rule of thumb, is that when you look straight into the mirror, then you have to see what part of your movable lid you're seeing. And this is the part where you put your shimmer. So if you have an eyelid that droops a lot over your, like it hangs down a lot, this sounds so bad, I'm so sorry, but I don't mean it that way. Then please just put the shimmer there in the area where you actually see this part here. You know, whatever part of this movable lid you see in the mirror when you're looking straight into the mirror, this is where you, in your personal situation, should, classically speaking, put your shimmer shade. Not into the creases, not anywhere else. The best thing, and that might be a little bit frustrating for people who love shimmers, is the classical thing is maybe to only use mattes, because that accentuates the least the creases and the folds and things like this, especially when you're watching this and you're older and you're not like a 16-year-old with hooded eyes, right? So anyway, I really do feel like I'm not the right person to do this, because people are gonna say, what is this girl talking about? Why is she talking to us about hooded eyes? Seriously, I've never had a day of hooded eyes in my life. I hope that you can still take my advice, because I have worked on people with hooded eyes and I've learned this. There are other ways too, and at the end of the day you can really do whatever you want, because it's just makeup, okay? I'm just giving you a suggestion of what I have learned throughout my makeup journey that just makes sense from the classic point of view, okay? So anyway, let's just take a brush now for the shimmer shade. And again, if you have a very, very small space allotted for the shimmer that we just spoke about when looking straight in the mirror, then of course the rest of the lid you'll have to pack on something darker. So for example, I want to use this shimmer shade here. This is a duochrome, and it is a little bit, it has a bit of mauve-y undertone, but it has like a gray, it's like a between gray and mauve, and it's called Ride or Die. So that is a shade. So if you have now If you need another darker shade, then either take black or take like a darker shade like this or something like this, anything that is darker than the second shade that we used, okay? Because the whole point is that the stuff falling apart here, the whole point is that the lid itself, the movable lid, will be the darkest part. All right, so I will put the shimmer on my whole lid because it's visible when I'm looking at you. You see my whole lid, right? So that's why I'm doing that. You have to, of course, you know, make your own adjustments. All right, I'm picking up that Ride or Die shade on my brush. Oops. Seriously, they are. All right, spraying my shimmer. And then I'm just going to put it on, and this is actually really, really cool. This goes so well with the look. It just really blends into the overall picture. That is really cool. I mean, seriously, would you have expected a nice shade like this in a Morphe palette? Really, this is a very, very nice shade. It's so duochrome. Anyway, so now I'm just placing it on my whole lid space, and then I'm just going to smooth it out into the second shade that we put down where we deepened up the crease. And that is it. Another suggestion that I have is that if you're using a shimmer and not going for an all matte look, you might want to use a glitter glue instead of just setting spray, because that also holds on to the shimmer a little bit better, because shimmer in general moves much easier on your eye, and also, as we just spoke about, it settles more into the lines and it also accentuates the lines more than mattes do. So you might want to use a glitter glue. I'm using the one, not for today, but I usually use the glitter glue from NYX, which looks like this. It works really well for me, and that's what I do. But for today's purposes, I'm using my setting spray. All right, so that is that. And now I'm just pushing it on and layering as much as I want to, so I get the intensity I want, and then sort of just wiggling out the edges so it becomes one smooth picture, you know? Okay, what you also can do, of course, is use your fingers. If you have a very small eye space, then I would not suggest it, because it becomes messy really fast. And also because if you're just having a small area allotted for your shimmer because your eyes are very droopy, then it gets messy really fast. So I think that it's the best probably to use a brush, or to try to use a brush, and then just try to go in with some kind of a blending brush, some kind of a that is fitting for your eye space. So I'm going to use like a medium-sized blending brush like this, because I do have a lot of space, and I'm going to go in with the second shade, the one that was like a movie shade, and I'm just dragging this here over the edge between that second shade and the shimmer shade in order to just like smooth it out a little bit, something like that. So the next thing I actually want to talk to you about is, while I'm, I guess, doing this here a little bit more, is the eyeliner. And maybe I should have mentioned this in the beginning, but if you're not new here, then you know that I always, before I come online or on camera, I always tightline my eyes, which means that I'm using a waterproof eyeliner, black, or if you want, you can also use like a dark brown or something like this if black is too harsh for you. And I'm sort of flipping up my eyelid as much as I can, and I'm basically putting it on my upper waterline. Okay, so if you have eyes that are if you, how do you say that? They tend to tear. If you like tear easily, if your eyes are teary, sweeties, it definitely has to be waterproof in any case, but because sometimes, because of my lashes, if they don't sit nicely, the false lashes, sometimes my eyes get teary a little bit here in the middle. So what I do in order to prevent everything from falling apart and getting smudgy and whatever, I'm just applying the tight lining from the outer corner till about the middle. That already helps a lot. So my whole point of me pointing this out is that when you have droopy eyes, eyeliner, really droopy eyes or hooded eyes, eyeliner is maybe not the right thing for you, because already you have very, very small eye space, you know, and then also where do you go with your eyeliner? You know, there is too much skin moving around here. So the very, very best thing, especially when you're older, believe me, the very best thing is tight line your upper waterline. And because already then, without anything else, you will look like you have more lashes, like you have some kind of definition there without having an elaborate eyeliner, which is anyway a problem if you have very, very textured eyelids already. Then like, how do you do a proper eyeliner? Tell me if I'm right or not. Have you seen in a supermarket or whatever an older lady, probably much older or whatever, who is really, really cute and sweet and tries to make the best of what she has, and putting on makeup, but her eyeliner ruined the whole look because it's splotchy, and also the coordination maybe of the hands because of the age is maybe not so good anymore, you know, and the hands jerk a little bit, and then everything is like jagged or whatever it's called. I've seen it so many times, and I thought, sweetie, I wish I could help you, you know? So the best thing is tightline your eyes and stay away from the eyeliner. Or if you want to do an eyeliner, try to maybe not use a gel eyeliner, but just use a eyeliner pencil, and then keep it like just here till, nobody can see what I'm pointing at. Wait, I'm gonna need something more sharp. You know, wait, moving in. So maybe keep it from here, or a little bit from like here, a third in, and then till here, and don't wing it out. Don't wing it out, because it doesn't make sense. It's gonna look like it's cracked because of the hood, you know? So let's go back. That was scary. Something like that. All right. So that is my suggestion. Tight lining eyes is absolutely a lifesaver. A lifesaver. It might feel weird in the beginning because it is weird to like flip up your eyelid and like draw something on there, but you'll get used to it and it will change the ball game. Definitely. All right, so that is that. And I think this already looks good. I still have to work on the other eye, and I'll be right back, and then we'll move on. Okay, sweeties, I'm done with the second eye, and now I'm going to go and apply some eyeliner. And if you really have super hooded eyes, then maybe don't do it, but or just use an eyeliner pencil that is a little bit darker than your darkest shade here on the lid, and then maybe just smudge it into the shimmer, you know, so you have a line that is already a little bit diffused. So if you are not able to, because of the texture of your eyelids or something, to keep it a real line, so it really doesn't matter, you know, it's already diffused into the eyeshadow, so nobody's gonna see that maybe your hand jerked a little bit, or that your texture is preventing you from drawing a straight line or things like this. So then it's sort of damage control, and it also looks really, really classy, you know. So I'm going to put some eyeliner on, I'm going to put my lashes on, and I'm going to finish my foundation, and then I'm going to come back and we'll work on the lower lash line. Okay, sweeties, we are back, and foundation is on. I have not done any contouring and anything like that yet. I will eventually. So as you can see, I kept my lower waterline really, really light, which I would suggest that you do too, because that will open up your eye. And of course, if you have eyes that are drooping a little bit, or eyelids that are drooping a little bit, everything looks a little bit more squeezed together. Forgive me for my words, I really don't know how to say it. Wow. All right. Anyway, so that is what I would suggest, that you put like a cream color eyeshadow pencil or something light. You know, there's also like shades like this. This is like a cold gold, for example. This one here is from Miluka, I think. Miluka is, I think, an Italian brand. This one is also, it's metallic. You can also go for matte, whatever. This one that I put on is just a cream color matte, and this one is from Pupa. This you will find in the description box. Anyway, there are all kinds of lighter shades, lighter than the look, that will open up your eyes, you know, visually. I don't know if that's the right word to say it. Anyway, so let's just take now a pencil brush, and I want to really just smooth on that second shade, that this one, right? This one. And I'm putting that under my lower lash line. And I'm just, yeah, just smoothing it on like this and really keeping it close to the waterline. And now you can also see the difference between the light waterline and that shade, right? All right, so, and I'm just going to connect it here with what we have here. Of course, you can see that I did a winged eyeliner because I can. You can you can do that too. You can do it too. I'm just suggesting that if you really do have hooded eyes, it is so much harder, and the risk of it looking creepy and like cracky, like, because it's very, very hard to do it right when you have a skin fold in the middle of the eyeliner, the wing, you know. So that's why I'm suggesting don't do it. Just follow your lashes and stop where your lashes stop, you know. I would suggest that, but of course you can do whatever you want, or you can experiment. Maybe you'll find a way that works for you. Okay, so that is what I'm going to do, and then I'm just going to take a fluffy brush, and I'm going to pick up that first shade that we used as a transition shade, and I'm just going to like run it over here, over that shade we just put down, and smooth it out like this. So it's all like very round, very soft, nothing that is harsh, something like that. And then for the final thing, I'm just going to take, I think, this shade right here, which is a very cold, it's called Knockout. It's a shimmer shade. It has no warm undertone because I feel like the shades that I put down in my face today, or on my eyes today, all have a bit of a cold undertone. So I don't want to have a shade, for example, like this in my inner corner, because this is like a champagne shade which is warm, and I'd rather have the whole look being cool tones, you know. So I'm just gonna take another brush, and I pick up that shade, and again, as I always say, or very often say, that I'm not going to spray that shade because I don't want this to be overpowering. I just want there to be a hint of something light, and I suggest very, very highly that you do that too, because usually when you have hooded eyes, your hood is going to be concentrating on the outer part of your eye. So the inner part, where you always also probably have some kind of shimmer space that we spoke about before, this is the highlighted area, because you have the shimmer there which automatically highlights the area, and this here is the part that you can actually accentuate a little bit, you know, because this is the part that is not drooping down. So I don't know if you can see, I hope you can see that I just put that shimmer down lightly. I connected it a little bit with the lower lash line, and it sort of all flows together because it also sort of connects with that cream color pencil on my waterline. So yeah, and it's nothing is harsh, nothing is standing or sticking out. So that is really the look, you know. And then I'm just going to, you know, finish off my face and also applying some mascara on my lower lashes, and find something for my lips. And then I'm gonna be back with the finished look. Okay, sweeties, welcome to the finished look, and I really, really, really hope that this was helpful for you. Please try and let me know if this is working for you, my suggestions. And I know there is so much more out there. There are 1,000,002 tutorials on YouTube, and they're all a little bit different. There is a lot to learn from this, so please go to other channels, maybe even to YouTubers who actually have hooded eyes, who can give you maybe more suggestions than I can do. But I did my very best. I hope you did enjoy that, and I hope you felt that my heart was in this, and I really, really tried. Okay, so let's just show you a little bit more of the eye look. Okay, so let's zoom out and have a bigger picture. All right, so that was fun. I never thought in a million years that I would do a tutorial like that, because I never thought that I can, because it really doesn't apply to me. And I always felt, or I always feared, that it would come across as insincere if I'm trying to do a video like this with a topic like this. Just as much, you know what, just as much as maybe weight loss videos that I already did, because, and it never occurred to me, honestly, but then one of you wrote to me who had just found me because of one of my weight loss videos, and she said, you know what, when I clicked on your video, I thought this is just another like chick, you know, who has to lose like 5 kilos or 10 pounds or whatever and makes a big deal about it, you know. And then she watched the videos and she said, wow, you actually lost a lot of weight. And so that is the whole thing with, sometimes you really don't know where a person is coming from or what experience a person has in the life that you don't know, you know. So what I'm saying with all of that is that I did do some makeup looks, not a lot, because usually my models do not have hooded eyes. And client wise, yes, I had a few with hooded eyes, so that is where my experience come from. And also of course from studying it, because that is one of the topics that you learn, clients with hooded eyes. So anyway, so that is where my experience comes from, and not from really doing it on myself, as you know, because I do not have hooded eyes. But I really hope that I managed to get across what I was trying to sort of teach you or help you with. So that is that. Speaking about the palette, I think actually this is a phenomenal palette. It's a phenomenal palette if you like this color scheme. I think it works really well. I think, as you also saw, that the shadows just flew on the eyelid, and it's not super expensive, you know. So I think this is something really good that can be super helpful if these are the colors you are vibing with, you know. There are some of the blues that I thought were a little bit hard to work with, but that is because blues are harder to work with. Neutrals are in general much easier to work with. So if you like neutral looks, that might be your thing, you know. And this shimmer shade here, this, what was it called, the Ride or Die, the shimmer shade that we used here today, actually was absolutely phenomenal. And I think it just blended into the look super easily and beautifully. And that is the whole point of a classic smoky eye, you know, that you have like one color scheme that you're sort of developing with the darkest point on your lid, and then smoothing it out with similar colors towards the top. Yeah, so that is my philosophy. I hope you enjoyed. All right, let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Of course, you will find everything that I used in the description box, also my social media contacts, everything. And besides that, subscribe to my channel if you're new here. I hope you did enjoy yourself. Check out my other videos, and I will see you here very soon for my next video. And up until then, go ahead and sparkle. Hooded eyes or not, we have nothing to hide. We have nothing to be ashamed of. We're all made in perfection, you know what? And I know aging takes a lot of courage, but you know what? I applaud you for wanting to make the most out of it and be beautiful and do whatever you want to make you feel good. You know, that is your right, and it's amazing that you're doing this. So that's why you watched the video, right? Okay, sweeties, I see you here next time. Up until then, hugs and kisses. Bye.